This girl is already giving me gray hair, and it has nothing to do with the painting process. I took her out of the oven, and she bumped the lid of the oven, and it left a mark on the top of her head, and I was like, ah! And I immediately got it off. Oh, it's a good thing I'm experienced. I guess I'm just not used to removing a head this big out of the oven. But I think we all knew she would be a stinker. Now I have thoroughly wiped the lid of my oven. I don't know how it gets dark on the sides. I think if you get like dust buildup, and it is in the garage. I always wipe the inside, but I hadn't wiped the lid, I guess. But anyway, that's why she's wet, because I was trying to get that spot off from the oven. Hey, Erica. So I was taking her out of the oven, and the oven lid just tapped the top of her head, and it left a mark. Like a brown black mark. And then, of course, I instantly got her under the sink and wiped it off. And she's fine now. But gosh. Giving me gray hair. I think so, too. Now it's off. You could sort of see it, and I was like, the hair will cover that, but I still didn't want it there. I'm so excited too. Alright, let's get a Genesis flesh layer up in here. This time I'm going to use my mop brush to clean it, or to create it. Thanks for the follow. What happened to my voice? So the, literally just the picture of June sort of popped off. I noticed when I stopped, it like hit over 400,000 views. Just the picture. Like it couldn't even have been the video. If I'd have known it was going to pop up, I would have made it over a minute so I could make some money on it. But, I popped off quicker than Sis choosing her kit. And some of the comments are a little like, what is this? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I decided to be a troll on there, and that was fun. They were like, what color did it start out as? And I was like, cow print. But yeah. There were just so many comments, so I was just like, I don't know. I decided to be a troll on it. But, thanks for liking the live. But if you ever need a laugh, check out the comments on that picture. Alright, so now we're doing a flesh layer. I'm going to add a little bit of Zotis oil to keep it moving. First, just because I know this white has a little bit of green on top and I kind of want that green to neutralize the flesh layer anyway. So you can message me on Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my TikTok handle, which is under, if you tap on my name at the top left of the screen, under that you'll actually see my Instagram, or my TikTok handle, which is the same as my Instagram. It's Pearl of a Girl Nursery. I don't have a favorite kit to paint. I don't like painting the same kit multiple times. But I guess every time somebody asks me that, I guess Tegan by Laura Lee Eagles I've painted the most. Lord, I missed it. You've got a whole 3 months of being able to check in, so you haven't missed anything. I'm cooling down the flesh tone with a little bit of blue. I also add white to my flesh tone because I do very fair-skinned babies. Getting your first rooted baby. Rehydrate the hair every once in a while by wrapping it in plastic wrap, like hydrate it with water or something. And you can even use a little bit of coconut oil. Water with a little bit of coconut oil, and then wrap it in plastic wrap overnight. So here's the difference between my chosen flesh layer and the flesh layer out of the pot. I like it light. Thanks for the follow. I'm using Zotis thinning oil to clean the brush a little bit. This color is useful in a flesh layer, so it's not that big of a deal. is my color. Thanks for the gifts. If you guys want to, you can try to create, finish up the gift gallery. I am going to avoid the lips. I'm going to do the top area of the skin above the lips, but I avoid the lips. So this is going to make our kit lighter, and it's only going to neutralize a little bit of the last of the orange tones. It's not so much for neutralization as it is for... Yes, I've done one layer. This is my second layer. Seems you don't. No, I do. Hope that wasn't a passive-aggressive way of me not answering your question. Clearly, I'm quite busy. I'm trying to answer questions as best I can. This is going to be closer to a painting tutorial than a Q&A, but I work for an hour and a half and then I answer questions. Why don't you give yourself weekends off? Because I'm not doing anything else. I wanted to start Sis's Baby on a weekend as well, because that's when most people are available and a lot of people wanted to see this. Plus, I'm excited to start making her, honestly. It takes the layers a varying amount of time to dry. It depends on the size of the kit and the layer in general. Wash layers tend to take longer because I keep them nice and oily so that they're moving, and they're also very thin, which means they're watered down, so they take longer. And some layers it's more about how much I pounce it before it dries. Amazed at how fast I am? Said nobody. Well, I guess I'm not slow at painting, but... the motions are definitely familiar, especially now that I'm using Genesis and not BC like I did with Pascal. I'm like, I'm at home. I'll do BC for some layers that I'm more comfortable with, but I'm still sort of experimenting with how best to do the BC layers with other dolls. And Pascal turned out amazing, but it's a little bit more trial and error just because I'm not used to those paints completely. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, this layer's already working better than the previous layer because I added a little bit of Zoda's thinning medium. Because I'm used to tiny heads, but I noticed when I did the first layer on this head, it was starting to dry before I pounced all around it, which is not normally what I want to do, but like I said, I'm used to doing newborn heads. But the Zoda's oil kind of helps it move a bit. Yeah, I gave myself extra time with this doll because there's a chance I'm needing a knee surgery. I should know Monday that my insurance kicked in, and then it's a matter of when I can get the next appointment. I can't make the appointment until my insurance kicks in, even though it's going to kick in retroactively and cover everything, but... Alright, so when you're using this on a flesh layer, you're almost going to get a speckled look, but the paint is so thin you're not going to see the speckles, but that is essentially going to be the effect. This doesn't add texture, it adds depth. And I'm also neutralizing the kit just slightly. See, in only 2 layers, we've gone from this plasticky orange to sort of a creamy color. Yeah, you can answer for me as far as, especially stuff with sis. And I'll try to even answer as well. Just don't answer business questions. Because if you were a customer, you wouldn't want... I know if I was a customer, I wouldn't trust anybody else but the person to answer my question. And particularly in the game of custom orders, I want my customers to feel special because the dolls are customized, so I should be the one answering those questions. I've always loved dolls, and I found them on YouTube when I was looking at videos of one of those electronic babies because I was taking that class, and I happened to find reborns in the recommended videos. I've been doing this for 11 years. I started when I was a 19-year-old fetus, which has now made me one of the youngest master reborn artists in the US, possibly the world. Along with Jake Kearns, we're like 2.5, 3 years apart. Jake is 27, I think, now. There we go. Oh, so cute. It's also a good idea to let the mods get a chance to answer first, because the mods the mods kind of know the answer for sure. But yeah, you can see the first difference. Cool, Rinley. But yeah, if you look at the neck ring, you can see this is 2 layers later. We did an earth mint color to tone down the orange tones a little bit. And then I find that the flesh layer, which I very much neutralize, my flesh layer almost is gray, but not quite. It's like flesh with a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. It is for sis. But it takes down the plasticky look. I cannot find my scissors, but... Oop. I guess this one's just going to be ripped. Got Flesh Genesis. Earth Mint Genesis. See, I started with this blue-green with white, which really helps with orangey kits. And then I might still do a very light pinkish. Yeah, something like a lavender, but like a white lavender. I'm a color bitch. Isn't the greenish color tell? Well, the greenish is not on reborn kits for some reason. I mean, yes and no. So the color that I do, basically, yes, green technically takes off red tones. The color that I mix is more somewhere in between these two. And what it does, by neutralizing reds, it brings us a little bit closer to this. So it brings us a little bit closer to yellow and yellowy orange. And then I just sort of like to get like a neutral cream that is somewhere in this range, but creamy. So somewhere here on the color wheel. Basically, I want to look at it and it should look creamy, but it shouldn't look like, I shouldn't be like, oh, that's like a yellowy cream, or that's like an orangey cream, or a pinkish cream. It should just be creamy. So this is a pretty stiff bristle brush, which is really great for getting in here and making sure that none of the creases carry that flesh color, that chalky color. Hello, it is Junie. So this doll is going to take me, she's going to be home for Christmas. It's going to take me a couple months. It would be shorter than that if I didn't have a knee surgery. But honestly, even if it's like we schedule my knee surgery and it's not till December, that just means I'm still going to make it last till then because, you know, I'm real with you guys. It's also a marketing thing, you know? And I want to make sure that I take my time and make a doll that'll, you know, last for Sis, that she'll really enjoy. Probably could make it faster if I wanted to, but I want her to have some time with Rosemary. I think she's going to have fun with Rosemary. And maybe she'll arrive home a little bit sooner than we planned, but that's between me and Amanda. No, you're fine. You can ask whatever you want. You're looking for a reborn baby? I have one for sale for $400. Reborns on reborns.com, you can find some cheaper ones. You can actually filter the price. So sometimes when you clean the creases out, it makes them lighter or a little bit off color to the colors that you're doing. That's why I like to do essentially a crease wash that's just like a slightly brown, slightly crimson-y color. That just tints the creases while also cleaning them up. I know, right? Sis gonna have all the baby she wants. What do you think about the hybrid Real Care Reborns? I don't think a lot of them are authentic. I think some of them, I'm not super, first of all, I'm not super into them because a lot of them are lichens, and lichens freak me out because I'm afraid of wolves, especially anthropomorphic wolves. And I'm really, like, I don't like Uncanny Valley shit. Yeah, Real Care, I don't care as long as you're not hurting anybody. Is there something you can do to help with the ink transfer she's gotten with other dolls? That's just vinyl. Vinyl has ink transfer. Though some kits are more susceptible to it than others. Bountiful Baby is one of those kits. Yeah. Yeah, that far off. We're about to do 3 layers and we haven't even started. So, It takes a bit. Yeah, for sure. And I'm planning ahead just in case I do need that surgery, so. Yeah, unfortunately, I've already had a little... I set her on my white sheet. And I do know that my white sheet is old and it's gotten off color, but it is white. And I put her down on it last night thinking white was safe. And we got some stuff on the ankles, but it'll come right off since the kit's not even painted. But that's okay, because I pre-mix all my paints, so I can easily catch the legs up to the arms and head. Yeah, recovery is definitely a process. Yeah, I do dolls to make, I do portrait babies all the time, so I can definitely do that. The kid is so cute. Hi, hi. Are you gonna add little teeth? No. So you can message me on my Instagram. You can message me on my Instagram, which is Pearl of a Girl Nursery. If you tap the top left name, Pearl of a Girl Nursery is going to be sitting right under that. That's also my Instagram name. I ship everywhere. The only places that have issues are some places like don't have Venmo, like Guyana. Somebody was trying to buy a doll who lived in Guyana, and the money transfer was hard. I've been painting reborns for 11 years. My favorite part, I love painting hair of all kinds. I like painting eyebrows. Really, really love painting eyebrows. And what else? Veining. I like veining. And I like it when they've gotten home. They always look really pretty when they get home. I think they look 10 times better when they're home. Especially if they've been for sale for too long. What? How did that get here? $400 plus shipping? Psst, who said that? Yeah, I will say I've had the least problems with dye transfer with Andrea Arcello kits. And she just so happens to be my favorite sculptor. And she just so happens to be the sculptor of Connor. But any kit is susceptible to dye transfer. Though we'll talk once we're closer to the finish line of... sometimes having a little bit of texture helps. I believe, besides Rosemary, this is the first doll that No, Kimmy would be one too. But, you know, Connor, she got Connor... Like, they bought Connor before Michelle really knew... Or, like, Connor wasn't made for cis, whereas Kimmy was made for cis, Rosemary's going to be made for cis. So they're probably going to be extra matted, and that'll help with, like, shine and stuff like that. Thank you! Oh my gosh, I've never seen that one. That's so fun. Alright, I'm gonna go get the arms. I do custom orders. That's what I specialize in. I'm booked out till January at the moment. Got 1 slot for January, 2 for February. But it's going to be all painted hair babies after this for 4 dolls in a row, which is interesting. Normally that doesn't happen. But that's just what was planned for the next 4 babies, I think, are all going to be painted hair babies. Uh-huh. All right. Let's see. Pascal's head and June's arms. There are others, and you won't offend me. I know I'm pricey. Because it's toxic. Or not like super toxic, but a little toxic. You shouldn't be around the fumes too much. Would be nice if I could keep it in my bedroom. Not Monday. What do you mean? I might have forgotten what I said. So remind me of the significance of Monday. Oh, Rosemary's coming on Monday. This isn't Rosemary. Do you like painting the hair or planting? Planting is a better name for rooting. I like both. I probably like, as long as it's dark hair, rooting. If it's light hair, painting. In general, I think I like painting eyebrows more than I like painting the hair. And I would rather, personally, I would always rather have a rooted doll because I like rooted hair a lot. I love playing with hair. You're fine. Planting is better. Alright, so he's got a little bit of mapping for his painted hair. He's so cute. Get Ultimate Fusion Air Dry paints. I've never used them, but don't paint your doll with anything besides that. And also don't wait 11 years to start rooting like I did. Let your rooting skills grow with your painting skills. Start rooting while your dolls are crappy because your rooting is going to be crappy. And get better. So here's the difference. So you can see the difference in, so we start out like that. And then we did this. And then we did this. See what I mean? How it's like creamy, but it's not leaning any way towards like white, or not leaning any way towards like pink or any of that. Though I just realized I touched the back of the head. It's not going to make a big difference, but myself needs to do this. The Elijah kit. That is a good kit. I still haven't painted one of, oh wait, Elijah by Joanna Kasperczyk? Or do you mean, or Elijah? I can't picture an Elijah. I'm picturing Elijah by Georgia Pickett. Yeah, she's got good sculpts. The limbs definitely need their flesh layer. I know she is going to be so cute. Thanks for the follow, Haley. Oh wait, I can show you the before like this. A long ass time. Normally I do the painting in a month, but we started out with the leg here, and then one layer later we get to this, and then in the next layer we get to this. I like my dolls really light when I start. She is gonna be so cute. Sorry, I'm waiting for things to cool. How do you add hair? The foot's wrapped because I set it down on my white bed sheet. Though in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, my white bed sheet is a little off color because it's a little old. Like it's like a dark white, if that even makes sense. That's the only thing I can think of, because other than that, she's only been on the baby chair. Anyway, her heels were a little bit discolored, so I wrapped the foot with some acne cream and stuff. But I pre-mix my paint so I can get them to the same layer that she is just by using the same process, which is fine. That's what I get for having the baby put together to display. But hey, we got 3 months. It should be off by tomorrow though. And better that it happened now and not later. And better that it happened to a blank kit and not a completed custom order. So now I know. Thank you. You cool yet? No. Could you be cool? Cool off. I could put this in the oven, but that means going downstairs again. If we had the legs and they didn't decide to just pick up stain for no reason. Fuckers. No, they're not home. My reborns are 800 to 1400, and I specialize in custom orders, but reborns can be anywhere from 100 and up. If you need something cheaper, you can start with Ashton Drake realistic dolls that aren't necessarily reborns. That was my first realistic doll, and I really enjoyed her. What happened to the legs? I put them down on a white sheet, not really processing that my white sheet is a little bit of a discolored white. It looks like a dark white, and I think that's what happened. But that's what I get for having the doll assembled for you guys. But I set it down on this sheet last night. I don't know if you can tell. Like, the sheet is white, but let's see. So this, see this hat? This is white. This is what my sheet looks like. So in my brain, I'm like, this is a white sheet. She's going to be fine. But I processed afterwards when I looked at the back of her heels. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's what caused it. So glad it was when she was unpainted, because it'll be easy to get that stain off when the kit's unpainted. And vinyl is more susceptible to staining when it is unpainted. The painting process does create a little bit of a barrier, but vinyl is still porous. Sis is going to be so happy when she gets her baby. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm beating myself up now for having the doll assembled and trusting a white sheet. Mad at myself. But like I said, as long as it, the kit wasn't painted, so I can do drastic measures to get those stained off if needed. But I think just next time I go downstairs, I'm going to stick them outside so they're in the sunlight. Thank you for the heart me's. Yeah, that's already lighter than it was. Probably stick it outside. I don't know why it works, but it does. Reborn people have been doing it for years. Put a bit of acne cream on there, wrap it, put it in the sunlight or under a lamp. You will not miss me painting Sis's baby. Painting Sis's baby is going to be like a 90 to 100 hour process, so you will not miss it. Most of it will be on live. We've done 2 layers on the head at least. Very true. So we started here. And then 1 layer got us here. Kind of from orange to a little bit creamier. I bake it almost every layer. There are some layers that can kind of be on top of each other like mottling. And now we are here. You can also kind of see the difference in the inside of the mouth. Whether she's going to have freckles or not will be something to figure out later while in the final layers. It was sort of a fun plan of mine to have Sis find a freckle on her arm. I'll probably make the baby look assembled, and I'll have Sis find a freckle on her arm that maybe she can like watch me put that onto the baby, because that'll be towards the end of the layers. I can make the baby look assembled before I do that, so that it doesn't freak Sis out. And then we can put a little freckle. I'll ask Sis to find a freckle on her arm that we can put on the baby. And we'll figure out. I'll ask Amanda if we want freckles on the face, but babies this age, they might have, like, I watched a baby that had 1 little freckle on the side of her nose, probably by a month old, developed it, and she now still has that. Making milk bumps can be difficult, especially if you're making like really small, really subtle ones like I did with him, which was a bit of a pain, but I think towards the end I got it. Sorry, I can't turn my camera around right now, but see, he's got a couple moments of like where I turned it into like pimples, but most of it is just sort of textural milk bumps. But he's got some pimples on his chin, and he's got some pimples on the top of his nose. It takes me about 80 hours to do a reborn baby. It's about maybe 40 to 50 hours of painting, 30 to 50 hours of painting, and then 20 to 30 hours of rooting, probably more than that when the hair is lighter. Yep. It costs that much because it takes me fucking hours. Yeah, that's why that's why my dolls are quite pricey, because my process is quite lengthy. But worth it. Yeah, so any details that Sis is going to have a part in, they're either going to be, like, questions. Like, I did have the idea of, like, having her pick where she wants a heart-shaped birthmark, or a heart-shaped mottling, like secret mottling. But I don't even think she really knows what mottling is, or the splotchiness. The freckle is the main thing that I want to do. She is going to be so happy. My dolls are $800 to $1,400 plus shipping. Mottling is the little splotchiness, like the splotchiness of a baby. Yeah, but Sis will know what a freckle is, so we'll probably towards the end I'll make the baby look like it's assembled, and then I'll, you know, that's the only other thing that we want to schedule with Amanda. Everything else, it's very hard to schedule things with Amanda, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just, you know, she's caring for somebody with special needs. She has a family, you know, there's a lot there, and this is all that I'm doing right now, which is fine. But that's the one thing we might try to do later is I'll try to have the baby look assembled. And, taxing for charging for shipping. You're already getting 1K. Yep. It also takes me like 80 to 90 hours. What, you expect that to be out of my payment? And also that makes it more fair for other people who are out of the country and stuff. Like, why would it be fair for somebody in Canada to have a cheaper doll than somebody in the US because they're paying more for shipping? That's not fair. You're taxing for people that literally have special needs. Not many people who have these dolls have special needs. These are just collectors. I'm not taxing, I'm doing shipping. And I can do whatever the fuck I want with my dolls. You can just not buy it. It costs that much because it takes me fucking hours. Why are you still... Well, I guess it's not warm anymore. Yeah, I was going to block them on their next comment. And also, I've had local people who are happy to pick them up and save some money. That is the head for Jim. Just to get attention. And fuck, I talk a lot. I don't mind giving them a little bit of attention, but you get to a point where you get blocked. But it's mostly that comment about like you're ripping off people with special needs. That's a very unhealthy or unproductive misconception. Many people who collect have special needs. But it bothers me so much when people assume that people with reborns have mental illness or special needs. Many people who collect reborns have those things. But when it's a stereotype, when it's really the minority, that's what pisses me off. Because then you assume that you're making assumptions about most people who collect reborns. Very true. Even though this is a marketing bump for me to do a doll for Sis, I still got paid to do a doll for Sis. This is not a free doll. I can't afford free dolls for people. Damn it, did they get muted? I wanted to block them. Because I don't want them spreading that rhetoric that most people who collect reborns have special needs. Okay. Or I guess the special, I mean, it's still an incorrect assumption, but the special needs doesn't get to me so much as like the idea that only people who are mentally ill collect these dolls is a very bad misconception that I absolutely hate. Me too. I wonder what special needs I am. Yeah, I'll try to do that next time. I don't know if that was her or somebody else commenting, but I think somebody was like, in the time you were talking, you could have done this. I was waiting for it to cool. It wasn't cool. And now it is. I'm using sort of a neutralized flesh tone. It almost looks gray unless you're looking at it in person. A little bit of green, a little bit of flesh tone. It's toning down the plasticiness. I like to work from a very neutral base that doesn't lean really one way or the other as far as colors go, but is just like that perfect cream, not too pinky, not too yellow. Like this. My dolls are $800 to $1,400 plus shipping. On about sanitizing. Somebody doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm not a toddler. I know how to paint without getting it on my hands. Most of the time. Yes, I'm using my sort of, I hesitate to call it a gray flesh color, but it is like a very neutralized flesh color to tone down the oranginess of the kit in general. Because I like to control my warming layers later, so the more light and neutral that I get this now, the more control I have over the color later. A lot of people just go straight into painting and mottling and then just let what other color happen later. I control my base. The base of my dolls almost always looks exactly the same, and that's why almost all my dolls have similar colors. And you control the doll's color a lot more at this layer and then at the warming layer that I do after the modeling. Get that reborn doll. Don't be afraid of what others might think. And also, you don't owe it to anybody to tell them. You could put it in a glass cabinet and nobody has to know besides you and like maybe your therapist, because we could all use a little bit of therapy. You know, that you take it out and play with the hair a little bit or change the outfits. Like, that's you. I didn't eat anything. I did say I was going to have a snack earlier, but... Oh, I had one of these. I was going to have a snack, but I stared at the pantry and didn't have anything. But also, mind your fucking business. The dolls look like this. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain myself. Pretty sure I know what I'm doing after 11 years. These 0 for 0 accounts are loving you today. That's fine. Did you see the picture of June popping off? If I didn't know that would pop off, I would have turned that into a video. The comments on that were so funny though, so I was mostly a troll, honestly. You're not going to get any honest answers in there, but if you ever need a laugh, check out the picture of June's unpainted kit. Within less than an hour, it had over 400,000 views, and it's probably even growing right now. The comments on there, people are so confused, and I was just like a troll. No honest answers to be seen, and I'm gonna have so much fun with that later too. I'll save the real information for my other videos. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same person. June's gonna be home by Christmas. No, it's not the video of the baby's head falling off. It's literally just a picture of June sitting in the little green chair, but not the one where she's holding Pascal's head. It should just be like, I think my last video is the one where I washed her kit, and the one before that should just be that picture that for some reason got over 400,000 views in less than an hour of people being very confused about the naked doll. Or not naked, but unpainted. I think somebody asked what color it was beforehand, and I said cow print. Somebody was trying to say scary, but spelled it scaru, S-C-A-R-U, and I'm pretty sure I responded ooh-woo. I think at one point I claimed I am an atheist, but at one point I was like, well, I'm an atheist, so this is what the babies look like after skinning them before eating them. So, yeah. June is going to be 3 to 6 months. But yeah, that is a fun fact about me. Let's see how many people leave. I am an atheist. Oh, we've gained. I thought at least my my regulars would like leave for a second out of just like a joke. Oh yeah, I can't see without my Dr. Pepper either. I'm gonna have to scroll through to get through those again because I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop out, guys, and maybe get a snack. I stared at my pantry and nothing looked appetizing, so I sat and looked at the comments, and I was like, why do I have 60-something comments? And it was almost all of that video, so I just scrolled through and decided to be a troll. I hope there's more comments. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. I'm just mad I didn't turn it into a video. I thought because, I did the video of her getting washed. You never know what's going to pop off, but I did the video of her getting washed. I thought a lot of people would just tune in just because that's the last video before painting, and, I thought that would be like a video where people would probably leave in the first couple seconds, but a lot of people would watch it. And, yeah, and then it turned to be the fucking image where I was just saying, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is where we're doing this. And I'd already posted almost the exact same picture of June with Pascal's head in her lap. and that nothing happened to that. But redo it, you can get another audience. Yeah, I should redo it, especially towards the end. But sometimes when you do that, it's like, it's not the same thing. TikTok is unpredictable. But yeah, every time I do an image, I should make sure that I should turn, you know, instead of because I do an image when I want to be quick, but what I should do is make sure that it's okay, so it popped off really quick and isn't still popping off. That's good. That makes me feel less bad that it's not. I mean, I could have made something. I think I made $200 off Sis's video reaction, and that had a lot of interaction too. I think that's at 600K or something like that. But yeah, I don't even, about your comment being filtered, I don't know. But, yeah, I should just make a habit of anytime I want to post an image that isn't, like, because most of the time I just post an image because I want to make it quick. But I should turn it into a video, not even add a voiceover, but just, you know, put my text on top of the video, make it a minute long with a second, make it a minute and 1 second, so I get paid for it. And call it a day. What do I want for my snackety snackums? Wow. I do want more mac salad eventually, but honestly, I had some mac salad last night and it gave me reflux all night, and that was really annoying. But worth it. It was so good. That's what we did last night. We made mac salad on live. Oh my god, my light. The sun is coming out tomorrow. The window's right behind me, so that's too bright. I'm excited too. I can't wait until we do. I love mottling. I may or may not. I know it doesn't look like it to you guys, but she is leaning a little bit towards the yellow side of things. So I might do, let's see, maybe, I have like a lavender that's like very light. And lightening the kit is always a good thing. But I don't want a light kit. It's nuanced. I want dark kits that I lighten. I don't want a light kit. Because light kits don't take paint very well. Like, I swear. Bountiful Baby, Bonnie Brown, and Laura Lee Eagles, that lighter vinyl does not take paint as well. Bountiful Baby is the worst, but Laura Lee Eagles and Bonnie Brown are the same. Which isn't a thing about the sculptors. Purely the kit color and where the kit is produced. The sculptors are fine. I feel like I would enjoy them a lot more if their vinyl was had a little bit more of a peach. I like the peach. I don't know. There's something about it. I think it's like the creaminess, because it's almost like too translucent when it's too light. It's hard to explain. There's something a little bit thicker, even though it's not physically thicker. It's like less translucent, which is weird because you do want the skin to sort of look translucent, but you want to do that in the paint. You don't want it to look like that in the vinyl. One of the reasons why I struggled with Quinby, even though she came out amazing in the end. Yeah, I wonder why that is too. But yeah, I like the orange. I've got more control over the orange, and it's what I'm used to because I started in the, 2010s is when I started painting, and that's when everything was orange except Bountiful Baby. So, thanks for the follow, Angelique. Alright, so the head can get baked. Ooh, I can work on this. I'm going to stick that head in the oven. My job is weird. I will be right back. Behave. Wendy, I give you permission to put people in timeout. but it would likely turn out shit, cause you probably haven't mastered it. It costs that much, cause it takes me fucking hours. Plus, baking a baby isn't so weird. I bake for 9 minutes at 265. This is Pascal. What's the process of making a doll? When a mommy doll and a daddy doll love each other very much, a very special dance happens. It's a long process. Everybody does it differently, I think. I tend to, so I neutralize the kit with a lot of creamy layers. Then I do some flesh layers. And then I do mottling, color correction, warming tones. Details are kind of last. So you can order one by messaging, message me on Instagram. If you click on the top left corner on Tess Tucker, you'll see my real TikTok name is Pearl of a Girl Nursery. My Instagram name is exactly the same. So you can message me on there. My dolls are $800 to $1,400 plus shipping. And I've gotten a lot of this lately, so just so you know, I understand everybody's got very different circumstances. A lot of people have some sad life circumstances that make them want a reborn, but that will not change the price. And I inherently have trouble believing most of that, so I'd rather you not bring it up, only because I've spent 11 years of people messaging me with their cancers and amputations and sick mothers and dying children. And 90% of the time, it's not real. So when you say stuff like that, I'm going to assume you're trying to get some discounts. I don't need the backstory. Let's just have dolls. And also go to therapy. Therapy's great. Therapy's fantastic. I've become a great communicator because of therapy. Don't make me your therapist, please, just because I'm making you something that helps you out with your therapy. Nothing significant, Nance. Thanks for the follow. Alright, so at the moment I'm waiting for the head to bake. I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the arms. And I'm giving some further mapping for Pascal. It's going to give some dimension to the painted or rooted hair. And it's also going to give me a guideline when I'm rooting. You missed the Reborn community, Taylor. Thank you, Lily. Though I'm getting paid to do it. I mean, it definitely is a special circumstance that, you know, Amanda and I are collaborating, because in normal circumstances, Sis wouldn't be able to customize her own doll necessarily, or like have the typical communications that somebody would do to customize their own doll, like messaging me and stuff like that. Under normal circumstances, Sis wouldn't be able to do that herself, so that's why there's sort of a collaboration going on. And for marketing too, you know, from the start, I told Amanda, I was like, look, I've got no orders, I'm about to go into medical debt, I think my work speaks for itself, but this opportunity, not only would I love to make a doll for Sis, but I love custom orders. I would love to collaborate together so we can find a way to help Sis customize her own doll. And we can work together so for marketing reasons, because I need somebody to see my work. I think it speaks for itself. And then within 3 days, I was putting $3,000 into my savings account, and, you know, for orders, you know what I mean? Like, not, it's, and I've made some money off TikTok too, but it's, you know, from the orders of the exposure. So it's been a fantastic collaboration. And I also, you know, really enjoyed collaborating with Sis and collaborating with Amanda. Because I think it's an awesome opportunity. Not a lot of people with special needs have a caregiver who can help them out with something like that. But it was an opportunity offered by an anonymous benefactor who wanted to remain anonymous because they're the sweetest person in the universe, who wanted to pay for the doll. For the record, Amanda was willing to and planning on paying for that. No shitting on Amanda in my chat. You don't fucking know her. Yes, this is phenomenal. This is so great. It's so freaking funny. That's another reason why I'm so glad she picked the smiling baby. I think she's gonna have so much fun, like, role-playing with her, role-playing with this doll being kind of a stinker. I think she's gonna have a blast with that. I love how she expresses herself through the dolls. I think that's the thing that stood out to me the most. Amanda did a video at one point of how, like, you know, when Kimmy, before she got repainted, you know, Sis would say things like, oh, Kimmy's grumpy or Kimmy's upset. And, like, yeah, she'll still make Kimmy sassy sometimes, but that, like, changed a lot when Kimmy was restored, because Sis expressed herself in a more positive way with a restored Kimmy, and I just think that's awesome. A doll normally takes me about a month to paint and then another month to root. But sometimes you end up waiting for your time slot. If I'm booked up. I'm not the lady who made Rosemary. That's Crystal. I know you can barely see what I'm doing, but I promise it's progress. Honestly, I can barely see what I'm doing. This pencil is so dull, but it's in kind of a good way. Like, it's just giving me some very faint guidelines. Which is kind of perfect for my purposes at the moment. Tips for people wanting to start painting. The calming music is my roommate. His band is called Shower Cry. They're located in Virginia, and he's actually insanely talented. Like, he doesn't even read music or anything. He does everything by ear and just memorizes the songs. Which a part of me, as, like, somebody who's a little bit more classically trained, I'm like, what the fuck, you can't read music? But another part of me is like, I'm so goddamn jealous. I can't pick out a tune to save my life. I have to read the sheet music. And his son is the same way. His son's like a baby genius with that kind of thing. He's 15. But yeah, if you look up his band, it's called Shower Cry. I think it's mostly women. And he's like a guitar guy. I wonder if he heard me and that gave him the confidence to play louder. I hope so. He's kind of quiet and shy with it sometimes. Sis did choose the name June. Which part is the local process? Could you re-specify what you're trying to say? What instrument? Guitar. I don't know beyond that. Like, if it's like a special kind of guitar, I couldn't tell you. I was always a woodwinds bitch. Nerd. Alright. So we got some mapping in there. Your reborn is weighted and porcelain? Interesting. Normally, reborns by definition are typically vinyl. Oh, you could reborn a porcelain doll for sure. Which part is the longest process? It really depends on the doll. Color correction, probably. Final color correction. For me, at least. Some people don't even bother to do that. They just like, whatever color comes out after I'm done mottling, that's fine. And I'm like, ugh. Shower Cry. His name is Josh Whittle. Whittle like whittling wood. I'm not doing too much. I spelled Christmas wrong in the live caption. That's okay. I'm sure people still understand. You're not gonna lie, you're just here for the calming music? That's fine. Thank you. You need help fixing yours? I might not be the person to ask. I'm not really, I fix my own, but I don't really help with that kind of thing. I'm too busy with my own custom orders, which is phenomenal to say after begging for customs for the longest time, but is very much the case now. I've had to stop having like custom order conversations. Like, I'm not necessarily closed for customs, but I've had to, normally I respond to people immediately, but I've had to close that off and be like, hey, it's going to be a couple days, because I'm pretty diligent with that kind of thing when I'm looking at somebody's baby photo that they sent or whatever. When we want to find a kit, I'm like, look, I want to dedicate like 2 hours to you or something. So, you know, can this wait until another day where I can actually sit and process this and scroll through some kits with you and have that conversation with you instead of forgetting about your messages as I'm preparing for this? I'm glad you trust my help, Lisa. I'm just saying I don't have the time to help or respond to something like that right now. Like, I would need to look at it, but I don't have the time to do that, nor will I have the time anytime soon. I've got to focus on custom orders. I'm the bitch who needs to do 1,000% all the time, and if I can't do 1,000%, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. You didn't miss June. She's in the oven. I'm working on her hands a little bit. You will not miss June. June will happen from now until Christmas, so. Like, the only way you can miss, you're gonna have to try to, like if you're trying to not see June, that's gonna be harder than missing June. I'm so glad. And just like that, I've noticed I'm starting to get hungry. Because I didn't do that snack that I had planned on doing. It is 3:10, so we'll do a Q&A until 3:30. And then I'm gonna get some food. Alright, yes, the dolls are vinyl. Only ask questions don't forget to wash your hands after. Oh. Eh. Yeah, just gonna sit here and eat paint and rub it on my hands. What made you get into making babies? I've always loved realistic dolls, and I took one of those parenting and child development classes where you have to take care of the electronic baby, and I was looking at videos of that to prepare for the assignment, and I came across videos of reborns, and the rest was kind of history. I'm making you want one. They're great. Reborn dolls are great. Sometimes I got them thinking that they would help my depression and stuff like that, and maybe they have, but honestly, I've just really enjoyed having them in general. You keep joining and leaving between doing things. That's alright. I'm about to take a lunch break. I just cleaned out the creases of June's hands. I'm gonna go down and get lunch. Probably gonna set the limbs outside. Still annoyed that my white sheet is not a white sheet, but it is what it is, and I'm glad it happened now before the painting. Alright, I think I'm gonna go eat. Alright, I love you guys. I'll let you know when we'll be back on, probably within the next... For some people, they do. It's not like they don't help. I don't think they could ever hurt that kind of thing unless you're the kind of person, you know, there's nothing wrong with pretending. Pretending is actually really healthy. You know, if you think about therapy, a lot of times you're putting yourself into situations to see how you'll react. You're talking through things. Sometimes you have to pretend a little bit to empathize with another person. You know, putting yourself in another person's shoes. Pretending is fine. Once you get the point of delusion, if somebody's experiencing delusion while handling reborns, that's when things become dangerous, because somebody who's experiencing some sort of delusion does not know or cannot be relied on with their own actions or their actions around others, you know, so obviously they're a threat to their own safety because they don't understand reality and they're having a bit of a break. But yeah, I can't see beyond that why they could ever hurt depression or anxiety, unless for a person it becomes too much of a reminder. I've always found them very comforting. If you're looking for them specifically for depression and anxiety, especially if you're on a budget, I would recommend a cuddle baby that's a little bit of a bigger size, like something in the 0 to 3 month range, like a little bit bigger that can actually kind of give a hug. Because like this is a newborn, for instance, and like that's comforting, but something with a little bit more weight is really nice, and the cuddle baby weight is fantastic. That's when the head is vinyl, but the body is all the cloth, and it's always, I get it for Reggie's bodies, and it's always so nicely weighted. So yeah, the hold therapy and the weight therapy is a thing. For me, it really calms me down to play with the hair. I really like the rooted hair, but everybody's different. Also, she's for sale. $400 plus shipping. I'm gonna go get lunch. I love you guys. Bye.